Go ahead and get us started. So hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Take 60 for Open's 2025 Kickoff. My name is Frances Walsh, and I'm a project manager with CareQuest Institute for Oral Health, where my primary role is to support Open. So in the chat, please add your name, your organization, where you're calling in from, and a response to today's icebreaker, what brings you joy through difficult times? Good to see you guys jumping in. Chocolate brings me joy as well, and pets, of course. Food and faith, right? Getting outside, I love that. I'm seeing a lot of nature too. They say that the forest is for rest. So I do love that. Great. Well, while you all continue to respond, I will go ahead and share our agenda for today. So we're going to begin with some opening remarks from Trinae Simpson, who will ground us in the network's purpose, history, and connection to CareQuest Institute. We'll then hear from a few of our network's formal leaders who will share highlights from their respective committees that will drive the work that we're doing this year. After that, I'll be back along with my colleague Bianca Rogers to brief you on what's coming up in 2025. And then you'll have an opportunity to join a breakout room to share your thoughts with other open members. And then we'll come back for a few questions before we wrap up. So just a few housekeeping items to note that today's meeting is being recorded and will be provided in a follow-up email for you all. All of your lines are muted upon entry, and we encourage you to please add your questions to the Q&A box throughout our time today. We'll have some time later on to answer a few of your questions. And please continue to share any comments that you have into the chat box. And we also encourage you to add your pronouns to your Zoom name. And here are a few group norms for Open to get us grounded in today's presentation. I just want to note we are committed to maintaining a respectful, inclusive environment where everyone feels safe and valued. Let's make sure that our conversations today reflect that. And we encourage open dialogue, active listening, and a shared commitment to our values. So with that, I'll turn it over to Trinae to kick us off.
Thank you, Frances. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us on today's meeting. My name is Trinae Simpson. I am the Senior Director of Philanthropy with CareQuest Institute. We are back and really excited for this year ahead. And so I feel like I would be remiss not to sort of acknowledge this moment that we are in. I don't know about you, but the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about sort of whiplash, things changing, lots of uncertainty, lots of anxiety. I love this quote from Bell Hooks because to me, it really talks about the purpose of Open as a network. In these times of uncertainty and sort of difficulty, the best thing that we can do is to lean on each other. Strong communities help us stay grounded, provide support, and remind us that we are not alone. We're here for each other, and by working together, we can navigate challenges and keep moving forward. Our shared mission has always been to provide accessible oral health care, and that doesn't change, no matter what is going on in the world. These moments are exactly why Open is needed, why our network matters, and why each of us has a unique and important role to play. We are in this together, and together we'll keep making a difference to improve the health of everyone in our communities. So what exactly is open? I want to just start by regrounding us in all things open. I think we have a good mix of folks who are new to the network as well on today's call. So open, or the Oral Health Progress and Equity Network, is an initiative of CareQuest Institute. It's made up of advocates and change agents like yourselves who are taking on America's oral health challenges so that everyone has a chance to thrive. Open members use their unique experiences, knowledge, and skills to lead network activities every year, creating collective energy that is driving large-scale change. Many of you will recognize this as Open's Jedi Statement, a commitment to justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, developed by a dedicated team of Open members in 2021. Intended as a living statement to ensure that the network applies an upstream, equity-focused lens to all of our work, and to ensure Open's accountability to practices that foster an inclusive environment. Open members have pledged to uphold our Jedi statement in both our work and personal practice. A link to that statement has just been sort of posted in the chat. Despite major improvements in population-wide oral health disparities continue to persist, and in some cases, those gaps are widening. To close these gaps, we take a systems change approach to our work within philanthropy. This means looking at the root causes of the conditions that we see, partnering with community to address systemic challenges in the system. Networks like Open are necessary when doing systems change work. At the core of a successful network is the ability to connect with one another, build meaningful relationships, and share resources and information. Open really emerged from a nationwide conversation among policymakers, providers, public health activists, and grassroots organizers who understood that the current oral health system is broken and we need to work together to fix it. So what does that look like? Advocacy is really at the core of our power as a network. Open has held 3 successful Capitol Hill days where we've educated members of Congress on the connection between oral health and overall health. We've raised policy issues related to Medicare dental, Medicaid, CDC HRSA funding, oral health for veterans, support for the LGBTQIA+ community, rural and individuals with disabilities, to name a few. And the work continues. Since bringing Open back in-house in 2023, with CareQuest Institute as its backbone, we've established a refined collective impact strategy that's reflective of your feedback and input, developed a corresponding committee structure intended to support the network members and drive our network activities. 2024 was our year to listen and learn, which you'll hear more about from our committee leaders in just a minute. And now in 2025, it's a time to implement. But before we get underway, one thing I want to be sure to address is that we heard the call for transparency in how decisions are made. This decision-making model is known as the accordion model or collaborative planning model, which is used for all of our open decisions. This sort of back and forth process involves gathering input from stakeholders, which could be through existing committee meetings, ad hoc meetings, the surveys that we love for you guys to sort of contribute to, and then really using that feedback to drive and sort of shape decisions, develop specific network resources, and also sort of identify what are those topics where we'd like to grow and learn together. Open's policy agenda and the legislative ask are examples of that process in action. We aim for consensus in all that we do through collaborative planning, distributed responsibility instead of sort of that top-down hierarchy. And consensus requires a collaborative spirit to foster shared meaning and establish goals and action plans that all parties can at least live with and agree to carry out in line with the collective will. This is not always a smooth process. We know it can be bumpy, and we appreciate your patience and commitment to learning as this work evolves. I've used this word a bit around CareQuest Institute serving as Open's backbone. So what does that actually mean? Many of you have seen this slide before. In 2025, CareQuest will continue to provide direct financial, strategic, and operational support to Open. We provide oversight and accountability as we work to measure our progress over time. And we support you all through a very small but mighty network support team that I'll introduce. So this is us. Bianca Rogers and Francis Walsh, who you've just heard from, really lead the day-to-day operations of Open, supporting the committees and implementing the processes to support our Open activities. Grandy Cody, our Vice President of Strategy, is our executive sponsor and works to build alignment across Open and the organization's strategic priorities. We are here for you. We are committed to this work, and we will endure. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us on today's meeting. And what I'd like to do is hand it off to a few of Open's formal leaders to share highlights of their work, starting with the Advocacy Committee. So Ellen, over to you.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having me. I am Ellen Shiguro-Hyman. I am one of the Advocacy Committee leads. I am a health policy advocate from Michigan, and I, along with the other leads, are excited to talk about what we're going to do, what we've done last year, and what we're going to do this year. So last year, CareQuest and Open commissioned a poll about oral health of registered voters. And what they found was that everyone, bipartisan, regardless of what party they affiliate with or who they support in a presidential election, values oral health in Medicaid and Medicare and veterans health. It was overwhelming. And so what we did is we took those results and we created an election engagement toolkit. And it had information at one page, it had social media posts, it had other tools in it. And what that resulted in was 1,800 emails sent to the presidential campaigns, 11.5 million impressions on social media, and 650 people, or more than 650 people, downloaded the one-pager. So that was really exciting. And I'm really happy about that. I think that's been really great in terms of educating people about the value of oral health. So I want to extend a huge thank you to everyone that participated in that campaign. This year, our committee is planning a Hill Day on May 13th and 14th in Washington, D.C. And I am so excited about this because the last time the Hill Day was in person was 2019. And I started with Open in 2020. So I missed that first Hill Day in person. And I've participated in the Hill Days virtually, but somehow it's not the same as being in person. So please set that aside, those dates aside, and more details will be shared later in the presentation. And I also want to extend an invitation to participate in our advocacy committee calls. So we have several scheduled, they'll be discussed later, the dates will be shared later, but it's really important that we have as many people involved in building our collective voice to protect oral health policies and the individuals they support. Thank you again, and I will pass it over to Casey Wilson.
Thank you, Ellen. So my name is Casey Wilson. I work for Community Catalyst, and I'm one of the co-facilitators of the Dental Coverage Committee. We're a committee that meets monthly, and we convene open members from around the country who are working on improving coverage of oral health services, focused mostly on Medicaid and Medicare. So it's mostly a space where people can come together, provide updates, hear about what's happening in other states. We do a lot of collaboration and resource sharing as well to make sure that people don't have to reinvent the wheel. A lot of people are working on very similar priorities, especially related to Medicaid adult dental benefits. So in 2024, a couple of specific areas that we focused on. First, drawing some connections between the oral health workforce and access to care. So many members in this space have been involved for many years and have been steadily working on improving or increasing their Medicaid adult dental benefits. And people were kind of increasingly noting that when Medicaid adult dental benefit expansions happen, that led to an increase in the need for a workforce that can actually provide those services to actually meet people's needs. So we had some conversations about that. And on the Medicare front, we also focused on some regulatory improvements to coverage of medically necessary dental care. Many of you are probably familiar with the additions that CMS had been making in kind of a stepwise way over the last couple of years to cover more dental services in Medicare. There's still no comprehensive benefit, so that's something that's also on the radar. And coming up in 2025, obviously with the new administration, many things will get a little trickier. A lot of the work, particularly on Medicaid, will likely shift into defense mode. And so myself and the other facilitators will likely be providing some more regular federal updates to make sure that people are looped in on national actions. And of course, this is the space where everyone is committed to protecting Medicaid and Medicare from the perspective of these programs' importance for oral health, but also because they're critical parts of our overall social safety net that have impacts on holistic health as well. So that's all from me. And I don't know exactly who I'm turning it over to, but somebody else.
And you're turning it over to Valisa. Hello, everyone, and happy Black History Month. My name is Valisa Perry, and I am the executive of United Health Organization, and I'm joining you from Detroit, Michigan. I am here today to represent the work of the Regional Committee, which includes open state and grassroots representatives. In 2024, our state representatives reported on their connections with the top 10 state-level agencies most likely to involve in state oral health improvement plans, conducted a review of each of these 8 websites for key search terms, access the level of community involvement across their states of oral health initiative based on the continuum of community engagement, a tool from CareQuest that helps us all be on the same page about what this work entails. And what we found is 65% of state oral health improvement plans reported on did not actually involve community voices in 2024. As the work was underway, the grassroots reps were hard at work coming up with strategies to equip Opens members and advocates nationwide with tools that they needed to drive meaningful change by creating community voice. The grassroots playbook will help to deepen engagement at community levels and guide and advance the next step, no matter where the people are in this work. Many grassroots communities are saying nothing about us without us. Grassroots is about connecting with and empowering everyday people within their own communities to drive meaningful changes. It focuses on in-reach, building deep, authentic relationships based on shared values, actually listening to community voice and becoming part of the change process. By centralizing the power of people, grassroots effort transform communities into agents of change. 2025 will be a year of building and co-developing strategies and resources to build out the playbook and advance state initiatives based on the results of States Connected survey that we have shared in the chat box. So if you like to dive deeper into what we're learning about across the state, this year, you look forward to supporting more target outreach and aligned strategies that reflect the reality on the ground. If I might add, that the Michigan Oral Health Coalition is patiently waiting for this playbook. And my friends around the country can't wait to put their hands on this playbook. Thank you so much. And I will turn it over to Vanessa.
Thanks, Melissa. You're a hard act to follow. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Vanessa Rastovich. I'm the Disability Health Policy Director from Achieva, and I am joining you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I'm also part of OPEN's Member Engagement Committee. This committee has been tasked with creating new pathways for OPEN members, whether they're formal leaders, seasoned members, or just getting involved. We want you to feel connected, supported, and ready to contribute. For us, this is about making sure that everyone has a voice and can learn, share, and work together effectively. In 2024, we reviewed a tremendous amount of past engagement feedback, and we really focused on listening to what members need and want from their open experience. And we did this using the Network Health Assessment, an evidence-based tool we used in 2024 annual meeting to gather insights of our collective purpose, capacity, performance, and operations. Priorities identified listed on the left-hand side of your screen show that members want OPEN to set clear goals and action plans. And they want us to share information with members in ways that are more supportive to general understanding. In 2025, we'll use this feedback to improve how we work together and strengthen the network's well-being and impact. The top 3 priorities identified by you all are listed on the right, including a quarterly network-wide orientation and connection building opportunity, a new member buddy experience, and an open map to track and share all of your great work. As an annual initiative, the Network Health Assessment will provide a consistent pulse check, ensuring that OPEN remains aligned with its goals and responsive to member needs over time. So stay tuned for more information. And on behalf of the OPEN Member Engagement Committee, thank you for all of the incredible insights you all consistently bring to this network. And I'm not sure who I'm turning it over to. Francis.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. And a big shout out to all of our committee leads who consistently show up for supporting this amazing work. So without further ado, building off of what Vanessa was sharing, I'd like to introduce the first of the newly identified member engagement pathways, which is quarterly network-wide meetings. So we're not quite sure what we're going to call these meetings, this opportunity yet, but the goal here is to create a welcoming and efficient orientation process to help new members navigate the network and connect meaningfully while providing existing members an ongoing space to learn and share together. We'll dedicate regular time to help new members learn about OPEN and how to get involved, and even longtime members are welcome if they need a refresher. And so while formal leads will be there to connect on updates, these meetings are for anyone who wants to learn, share ideas, or connect with others in the network. So stay tuned for more information about those, but we heard from you and we are creating the space to make sure that these onboarding and connection points happen. And we also heard from you. This is just another example of how open feedback is woven into our strategic plans. So these topics have been prioritized for our collective work this year, and these were elevated by you all during your state-based breakout conversations at the 2024 annual meeting, where members shared key messages or strategies that have been useful to build alignment in your work. And if you remember, if those of you who joined us, You shared where to find common ground to align oral health on different priority issues in your states and in your communities. So a summary of those conversations can be found both in the State Connections report shared earlier. Apologies for the missing link. That was my bad. But also in the grassroots playbook feedback document that should be in the chat now. So that feedback has now been fed forward into the design of the state and grassroots representatives plans for this year. So we'll be focusing on building out content and resources to advance these topics in alignment with the state and community-based efforts through the collaboration of all open representatives in a more unified learning community style committee. So with that, with these kind of building on these topics, we have now refined the role of the state and the grassroots representatives, and we'll be streamlining this work through the state and grassroots committee. So no longer the regional committee, but the state and grassroots committee to kind of make that a little bit more obvious that the connection is made there. So this collaborative learning community structure will help open reps to learn about and further develop content and connection to advance those identified priorities. This plan will involve more streamlined support from the state and grassroots leads who will design and lead meetings where they feel they have the most expertise and ensure the reps can share and learn in a more focused and connected forum. This work will also be used to inform the new quarterly network-wide calls. So topics there will be brought to you from kind of like what is elevated through the state and the grassroots work. So be sure to stay tuned for more information about that and when to join, and you'll hear all about the progress and updates happening here with the state and grassroots reps, and you can share and learn about all of this great work with other open members. So here you can now see the full infrastructure of Open's committees to get a big picture view of how everything flows together as a whole. And as you can see, we now have one more major connection point. I would like to introduce to you the new Impact Evaluation Committee. So throughout the history of Open, we've done a lot of work to build our understanding of collective impact. And we have so much data in this network that reflects our member interests, our expertise, and our evolution. But we realize a few things are still missing. There's a lack of qualitative data to humanize the hard numbers, which can make this work harder to digest. And also it's difficult to credit open activities for the actual impact and changes made in the world. So in 2024, we began to develop an open theory of change, which is kind of the why for this work at the core of all we do, and as well as a logic model to define what the work is and who will do it. So we then convened an ad hoc working group to flesh out these ideas and determine the role of this Impact Evaluation Committee in 2025, which will be our newly formalized approach for how the work will get done. So I want to give a big shout out to that working group for supporting these ideas and bringing this committee into fruition. That's Annalise, Christian, Heather, Scott, and Vanessa. You guys rock. So we are now looking for folks to join this committee. We have 4 open slots that are available for this. So anyone, any folks that are passionate about open and its role in advancing oral health equity, and those of you who love connecting the dots and using data for decision making and storytelling, if you enjoy solving puzzles or building Legos and are eager to contribute to Open's growth, we invite you. So if impact and evaluation spark your interest, we invite you to join us for an office hour. There's 2 options that are listed there. They will be listed again. But both of them are next week's. The first is on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. The second will be next Friday, the 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern. And we hope that you will consider applying as an Impact Evaluation Committee lead by March 14th, I believe is the deadline. But with that, I will turn it over to Bianca, who will share more with you about all the ways you can get involved with Open in 2025.
Great. Thanks, Francis. And hi, everyone. It's so great to be here with you today, and I appreciate you making the time to join us. Quick reminder before I get into my section here is if you have any questions, please add them to the Q&A chat box. That way we can keep track of them, and we'll do our best to get to all your questions during our Q&A session later on in the presentation. So over the next few slides, I'm going to share the various ways you can get involved with open, including through formal open leadership positions, but also as a network member with several of upcoming events that we have open to anyone who'd like to join us. So starting out with open formal leader positions, we currently have openings for grassroots representatives in the following states. So the function, as Francis mentioned a bit earlier, for the state and grassroots committee. The grassroots rep is responsible for bridging the gap between the communities they serve and the broader open movement by sharing their perspectives and values to help inform our collective work. So if you work for a community or grassroots level organization, or you are a community organizer, you represent one of these states and are committed to social justice, this is a great role for you to take on. On the flip side, here are the states where we have openings for state representatives. So state reps work to build collaborative relationships and connections across their state to help grow our network's reach and impact. They also collect and share statewide data and resources to help map out a national picture of oral health work and progress. So we hope that you're interested in applying for either of these positions or the Impact Evaluation Committee for spots. How you can learn more about these roles is by visiting carequest.org/open. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will find this application checklist. Here you will find the details on eligibility, the funding, the role expectations. I saw there was a question about time commitments. That's also included. As well as instructions for applying in our grant system Flux. So for those who are, whoops, sorry about that. Whoop. I don't know what's going on. Okay. For those who are renewing their position from 2024, you can find a specific renewal application checklist on carequest.org/open. You will also have to renew in Flux. However, you have a very, very short application where you'll simply let us know your position, what state you're from, are you applying as an individual or through your organization, and then you can click submit. Please note that the applications are due on March 14th. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or any of us on the open team, and we can connect with you one-on-one. All right, a couple of other opportunities to get involved with open. So first is the upcoming advocacy committee calls. You heard Ellen talk about these earlier today. If you're someone who's interested in shaping the advocacy activities of open or providing input on the policy priorities that the network focuses on, we invite you to join us on these advocacy committee calls. I'm going to call out this next meeting, particularly next week on Thursday, where we will be focusing on the Hill Day priorities. We really need your voice as we are thinking through what are those priorities, what are those messages that we want to bring to Congress this year. So we hope that you'll consider joining us. We also have 2 upcoming dental coverage committee calls. Thank you, Casey, for that excellent overview earlier in the presentation. So as Casey said, if you're interested in being in community with other folks who are working on state policy to protect or champion Medicaid adult dental benefits or Medicare dental coverage, this is the call for you. It provides a platform for members to share their experiences or lesson learned so that they can then apply it to their own states and their own work. It's co-facilitated. You met Casey earlier from Community Catalyst, as well as Bailey Rivas from Families USA, our national partners. So they bring the national perspective to the conversation and provide updates on congressional administrative actions, which we know can at times have trickle-down impact on state-level work. All right, another opportunity. We have lots going on in Q1, so I hope you all are ready to be engaged and connected. On March 6th, we are hosting our next Take 20. So Take 20s are 20-minute presentations formatted as TED Talks, for those of you who are familiar. The speakers share their take on a hot topic in oral health, health equity, or social justice. This next Take 20 is presented by Steve Geierman and Grace Lynn on how open members can champion minimally invasive care. So by attending this meeting, attendees will learn how championing MIC can improve health outcomes for all, especially in underserved populations, and also be able to identify the role policymakers, payers, educators, and clinicians play in advocating for MIC. So make sure to check that out and register. I'll talk about where you can find all this information online in one place in just a moment here. So we have 2 large convenings this year. The first is our Open Hill Day in Washington, D.C., and then our annual meeting, which will be held virtually in October. Open Hill Day is an amazing opportunity for participants to meet with their members of Congress to educate them on oral health policies that are impacting constituents and our communities. I think Ellen mentioned this. This will be our 4th Hill Day, the second of which is in person. The last time we were there was in 2019, and a lot has happened since then. So it's great to be able to be back and have a showing in DC. For those that are new to this type of event, Open provides you with all the training and meeting materials. We schedule your meetings with U.S. senators and your congressperson on your behalf, and you attend with other participants from your state. I also want to note, for those who are unable to join us in person, we will be organizing a virtual opportunity for you to be able to take action from home, and we will be sharing more details as we get closer to the date in May. On the flip side, later on in this fall, we will have our annual meeting. This is an opportunity for network members to connect with one another, share learnings and resources, align around the work that's happening across the country. We also always try to bring an element of fun to it with photo booth contests and bingo. It's a great time, so we hope you will join us this year if you haven't before. Okay, a couple here left. So for those of you who are new to Open, please make sure to fill out our membership form. This ensures that you receive the latest information and communications from us. And if you've already considered yourself an Open member, but you have not filled out this form, consider filling it out so you can be a part of our future member directory that will be available later on. So, where can you find all this info? Oh, this webpage, carequest.org/open, bookmark it. This is where you can find all of our upcoming events. You can find the membership form. You can find the application information. There's a really great video on Open members experience. So be sure to check that out. And so this is the space where everything is condensed in one place. So make sure to check it out. so you can get involved and connected with the network. I do very quickly want to plug also an upcoming webinar that CareQuest has next week, February 19th, on advancing equity strategies to overcome implicit bias in dental practices. This is a really important topic, and it also includes a CE credit. So make sure to check that out. And to check out all things about CareQuest and our impact and how open is a part of that impact, we have a new online impact report. So you'll want to take a peek at that. All right. Those are all the various ways to get involved. You have heard now a lot from us. And so we want to give you an opportunity to chat with one another, meet each other, connect, network. So you are going to be sent into breakout rooms with new members and seasoned members. Once you get in the breakout room, introduce yourselves, let folks know if you're new or if you've been in open for a while, and then chat about these two topics. What are you looking forward to most in your open experience this year? And what are you interested to learn more about through the network? So with that, I'm going to have Jasmine send us into breakouts, and we will come back here at about 10 minutes before the top of the hour. So whatever time zone you're in, 2:50, 3:50, and other time zones. All right.
There was no one in my breakout room.
Okay, we will work on that on the back end and get someone in that room. I apologize, but just a moment.
Yeah, I was in a room in room 26, I believe, just me. So I don't know if you want to place me somewhere else. Melissa Campbell's my name.
Yes.
And I can go, I didn't get sent to a breakout room, so I'm happy to go to a breakout room with you all.
Do whatever you want to put us wherever, right, Vanessa?
Perfect. We will do that just momentarily. Thank you for your patience.
No worries.
Okay, I think everyone is in a room now. I'm just gonna, some of them have just a couple people in there, so I'm just gonna work on moving them in the back end.
Cool, cool. I thought Bianca was gonna stay out here, but I don't see. All right.
Francesca, for breakout room number 14, I see one person in there. Are you able to move them?
Yeah, let me try. I was just about to do that. Oh, you know what? That's just an AI note taker that someone enabled, so we're good there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Looks like Carrie's on. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, love. I stepped away.
No worries. We're just joined quick breakouts. So
Yeah, when I came back, I was in a room by myself, so I just came back from it. I was in 21, but nobody was in there with me.
okay. Jasmine, do you want to place Carrie in another room?
Yep, Carrie, I'll go ahead and move you now. Just one moment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
No problem.
And then Jasmine, is there any way next time, like, obviously we include all registrants, but there's probably no way around knowing who's gonna join and who's not in terms of empty rooms.
Yeah. I think the only way to do it next time is to assign them randomly because we won't know. There's no way to tell who's gonna.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say next, that I think it might be best to do it randomly to avoid empty rooms.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, cool. Then we could do that next time around.
sounds good.
I know like I'm the only one in here and we're supposed to go to 350, but could we do like 352 and so potentially do like a 5-minute warning now?
Yep.
Okay. That sounds right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like that works.
Okay,
Few
cool.
extra is probably a good idea, since it took a minute or two to organize too.
Awesome.
Welcome back, everyone. I think people are slowly coming back. I think.
Not enough time.
Oh, good. Thank you for letting us know that. I don't have the controls anymore to move to the next slide. If someone can help me. But yeah, I just want to the Q&A slide, please. I was just in a breakout with Barbie Vartarian, and I hadn't seen her in a long time, so we just had the most wonderful chat. I wasn't supposed to be in a breakout, but so I'm a little bit behind. Apologies, but I'm ready. I hope everyone had a great conversation. The good news is we're going to be having so many more opportunities to connect, so you'll be able to talk with folks again. We know it was short. We are going to take a couple questions right now. So, one question that came up was around, what does a successful Hill Day look like this year in the current political environment? And so we've been working very closely with the advocacy leads to think through Open Hill Day success and priorities. So for us, it looks like, meeting with members of Congress, having productive meetings on issues that we can have see incremental changes on. It also means, we're coming into 2025 with a new Congress. So being able to educate them just on the simple overall health connection, that is always important to us. We also are looking at, having meetings with some strategic member offices or committee offices that are linked to our issues. So making sure that folks from those states are able to join us and be involved. And of course, we'd love to walk away with some new oral health champions and build some relationships because we had two, amazing oral health champions recently retire last year. So lots of opportunity and excited to see, the outcome. So again, another plug to join us at the advocacy committee call if you want to get more involved. Sorry, just looking at my chat here, if there's one more question that we can ask about. Let's see.
So I'll jump in to share. So Carrie, we saw that you were asking about the time commitment for the impact committee. And so from this fancy network impact committee charter that Ankit had helped put together, members are expected to commit to attending 4 to 6 committee meetings during the year to review materials and contribute to the discussions. The meeting schedule and frequency will be decided at the first meeting that will tentatively be in March, perhaps early April. And those meetings will last approximately to 60 to 90 minutes. So the commitment is also to attending the different network-wide activities, like the annual meeting and the different things. Also, Parrish, seeing your question about the quarterly calls. We do ask that all folks can join as they are able. The expectation is not that you'll join every last one all the time, but yeah, if you do have availability to be able to jump in there as well.
Thanks, Francis. Leave it to Ankit to really detailedly answer a question. Appreciate it.
Totally.
I will just, Francis, if I may, one more question. We got a couple around is in-person opportunities for network members to connect. So, through surveying, we've reached out and seen, what is people's preference? And it's about half and half of people who prefer virtual versus in-person meetings. So for this year, we are split in half. So we have one Hill Day that will be in person, and then the annual meeting will be virtual. So those are the two large convenings, one in person, one virtual, and then the rest are touch points will also be virtual this year. So I think that wraps it up. If there were other questions, we are going to collect them, make sure we save the chat and follow up as we can. But with that, I'll turn it over to Francis to close us out.
Thanks, Bianca. So I will try to warp speed. So please take a few minutes to complete today's evaluation. That should be in the chat. So this form is not only to evaluate how we did today, but we're also requesting additional feedback about what topics you'd like to learn more about. These will inform some priorities for things like our Take 20s, the quarterly meetings. We'll also be sure to share the recording and materials from today back with you all. And so that will be with all folks that have registered, as well as we'll be posting that on Open Communities. And that'll include all the information on how you can apply as a formal lead, all the new exciting opportunities. And one last reminder, which we did encourage you to bookmark Open's website at carequest.org/open. So you can stay up to date there on all things open related, and also encourage you to continue to log on to Open Communities, which is our network's virtual gathering space. And that's at communities.openoralhealth.org. That's where you can share resources, post questions, and connect with fellow members. You can also utilize the directory there to see who else is in your state, and more to follow on, or more to come on Open Communities for the year. But as always, please feel free to get in touch with your network support team if you have any further questions or feedback. And with that, thank you all so much for your time today, and we'll see you soon.